Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today I am off to check out the new movie Dumb Money. This is the story of all that craziness that happened during the pandemic with GameStop stock, where out of nowhere just retail stock traders were like, you know what, hedge funds? Here's the middle finger, and decided to screw them over and play a completely different game than the stock boys. This is something that happened not too long ago, so it's fairly recent in a lot of people's memory. I'm sure a lot of you watching this right now know exactly what I'm talking about with all of this that happened. I mean, it was all over the news just about 3 years ago. So this is a pretty recent movie, plus very public knowledge of how events played out, so I'm pretty sure it's going to try to stick to the real story. I'm really interested in seeing this film. I, for one, did not take part in the GameStop stock type thing that happened, but I did have a friend who did. Just totally bought into it to stick it to the man, to be perfectly honest. He did not walk away with millions of dollars, but he did have some fun just knowing that he was, again, sticking it to the rich assholes up there who own everything. Okay, well, that in mind, like I said, it is time for me to get out of here because I want to go check out Dumb Money. Welcome back, just getting home, and you know what, guys? I really like this movie. Generally, I start things off, I go with the negatives, move into the positives, and I really don't have any negatives on this film, but I guess the only thing that kind of is negative is the fact that this is based off of a true story, and a lot of the facts and high points of this film did take place in the public eye, and a lot of this stuff is public knowledge, so, everything happens in this movie happened in real life, so there really isn't a lot of surprises unless you paid zero attention to this whole thing. And depending on how much free time you had during 2020 and 2021, you were probably paying attention to this because I don't think a lot of us went anywhere during that time period. Alright, so this movie is also directed by Craig Gillespie, and he does an outstanding job. This film is extremely well made, very well put together. The pacing of the movie is outstanding. Within the first hour of this film, you are just captivated, you know everything you need to know, and the movie doesn't try to be too smart. Like, it really does a good job of explaining to you the short sale and the short squeeze and the plans that they have and how they're going to screw over these hedge funds and things of that sort. I feel like the movie itself does a really good job of explaining the process to you without making you feel like a complete and absolute idiot. Also, I like the way the story is told. It doesn't just follow the main character of the story that's played by Paul Dano. It tells the story of several other people that were also involved in this. Now, mostly just how they were involved in the GameStop stock thing, just tells their story on how that worked out, who they were, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% sure if any of these side characters are real. Like, one of them is played by America Fiera, and she does an outstanding job. She's probably one of my favorite ones in the side characters that we don't really get to know a lot about, but they're there just to kind of, not make this movie just bogged down by telling one person's side of the story, kind of giving a lot of other aspects of things. Now, that also being said, with the characters, the acting in this film is outstanding. It is very on point, and that brings me to the two shining performances. I did bring up America Fiera. She does do a very good job in this film, but if I had to say my two favorite actors were Paul Dano and Pete Davidson. Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied there. Pete Davidson plays the brother of this story, and he does a great job. Now, I mean, he is playing kind of a character you would expect someone like Pete Davidson to play, but you know what? You know what you do, right? And he does the job quite well. Everything about this film flows very nicely. It tells the story very well. It doesn't make these people look perfect by any means. It tells both sides of the story, but yes, it does really lean into more of the retail stock folk mostly in this film. I mean, they are kind of the underdog heroes of this story, and you are rooting for them to win throughout the entire thing, even though we all know how this ends. There really wasn't any winner, there really wasn't any loser. So, anyways, guys, is this a film that I think you should get out there and see? Yeah, get out and support this movie. It possibly could be seeing some awards down the road. Well, down the road, like I said, the performances in this film are outstanding. I could see a few nominations going, a little head nods for some awards in that. And the film, like I said, it's just very well put together and a very fun film to watch. So get out there, folks, support this movie if this is something you're curious about. Oh, one last thing I would like to say too, because I think it's important. The film does take place during the pandemic. However, that does not drag the film down. It's just something that happens in the background. I thought the film did a really good job of just having the pandemic kind of there. It doesn't make it a real big point in the film. It's just something that's happening that everybody has to deal with. And it does show the differences of how the working class and the wealthy dealt with that situation. And it does kind of pisses you off a little bit. Alright, well, anyways, guys, that being said, get out there, support this film. It's a really good one to see. So, alright, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give us the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.